So what can I say about Gravity Rush? Besides giving some of my Twitch viewers motion sickness, it is a very innovative 3D action-adventure platformer, developed by a small team within Japan studio, who I know from Ape Escape. Gravity Rush was released on the PS Vita originally and later ported to the PS4 due to the lack of sales for the PS Vita. Now, I never owned a Vita myself, but this game was one of the titles that I heard constantly from Vita owners. So, once I got it on PS4, I jumped on the chance to try it out, and yo was I missing out. So Gravity Rush follows the story of a young girl named Kat. Kat lands in a city called Hexville and with no memory who she is and why she was brought here. Right off the bat, Kat runs into this guy whose son is in grave danger from being absorbed by these things called the Nevi. Kat springs into action, and once she realizes she has gravity altering powers thanks to her galaxy skin cat named Dusty, these powers pretty much allows Kat to fly and walk on walls and such. Kat saves the young kid, but of course this causes many of the residents to be very cautious of her and pretty much runs her off. Kat makes a home near the sewer system underneath the city, and her and Dusty makes themselves home there. Luckily for Kat, as she starts helping the city out with the Nevi and rebuilding the tech in the city, people warm up to her. During your adventure, you meet a pretty cool cast of characters. You have Sid, who is a police officer, later detective, who has a crush on Kat, but looks out for her while she's in the city. Raven, who quickly became my favorite. She's also a gravity shifter whose motivation is not quite clear until later in the story. And Lucia, aka Sea Wasp, who is a cyborg created by the military to fend off the Nevi. She definitely gave me Mega Man vibes for some reason. Last but not least, we have the creator, whose story was not really clear in the game, but he acts as the connection between Hexville and the alternate dimension. The dark beings called Nevi is literally tearing the city apart, and it's up to our cast to put an end of that and face the corruption in the city as well. I won't get too deep into the story, but let's just say the game left quite a bit of things unexplained, and I hope the sequel sheds some light on some of these elements. But let's move on to the gameplay. So Gravity Rush's main mechanic is gravity shifting. Kat has the power to float in any direction and stick to walls, ceilings, and can essentially fly. As you proceed through the game, Kat will learn more special abilities that can aid you in defeating the Nevi. Kat can use her gravity kick, basic kick attacks, and also special moves that pack a punch, but has a cooldown time. Gravity Rush features a pretty open city to explore, but Kat gravity abilities make the city so much more fun. There's a fast travel system and trains, but honestly, once I level Kat up enough to not drain her gravity meter as fast, I was flying all over the city. There is a limit of how long you can stay in the air with Kat's gravity, but again, once you upgrade Kat enough, this becomes a non-issue. You upgrade Kat with these precious gems that you find all over the city and in alternate dimensions. You can also do these challenge missions over the city and get a nice amount of these. You unlock challenge missions by repowering different things around the city, which makes the city feel more lively. The only issue I have with these challenge missions is the lack of variety. These are fun for the first couple times, but honestly they just become a chore to do by the second half of the game. You are either just racing against the clock, hitting checkpoints, or defeating Nevi, but the payouts are worth it because you can level up Kat to make the game so much easier. I can also say the same for the combat and the enemy variety in this game. All the Nevi in this game can be taken down by simply attacking the glowing orb on their body. Once you unlock and level up the Gravity Typhoon, you will clear out a room quick. The same can be said for boss fights and character battles. I feel a little more combat variety would have been nice. The standout boss to me was definitely the final boss because it shows Kat, Raven, and Lucian working together, and I absolutely love that. Overall, despite the issues I had with Gravity Rush, I had fun playing it. The interesting gravity mechanics kept me engaged for the duration of the playthrough, and I love the world and characters. I hear the sequel addresses many of the issues that I had with this game, and since that game was built from the ground up for PS4, I can't wait to dive into it. Gravity Rush is a solid game overall, and I recommend this to anyone looking for a fresh game to dive into. The game isn't that long either. Considering this was originally designed for a handheld, it makes sense. Give this game a shot. I think you all will enjoy it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.